Hi, I'm Vanessa and I'm a Pinterest marketing strategist for creative small businesses. Today's video is going to be about using hashtags on Pinterest. Yes, hashtags are finally being used on Pinterest. Now, if you've been following me, you'll know that in August 2017, I had the opportunity to tour inside Pinterest headquarters in San Francisco, California. And while I was there, I was able to interview a promoted pins partner. Now, this promoted pins partner deals with Fortune 500 companies, and she knows how to build a successful pin campaign. It's her job. So her recommendation to me was that hashtags were going to start being used on Pinterest and to start using 3 to 4 hashtags in my pin description. Now, fast forward to late September 2017, and Pinterest just published an article on their Pinterest for Business page on how to use hashtags. And their recommendation was using 20 hashtags per pin. Now, I personally think that seems like a lot. It might be difficult to come up with 20 relevant hashtags, and it also might make the pin description look spammy. So my recommendation is doing a little bit of a Pinterest account audit and trying to come up with hashtags that relate to your pins overall. So for example, I post on Pinterest marketing strategies, so I'm using hashtags like Pinterest tips, Pinterest for business, how to pin on Pinterest, how to schedule on Pinterest, etc., etc. I could come up with a lot, but I try to use 3 to 4 concentrated hashtags on every single pin description. Now, one of the questions that we have as Pinterest strategists is whether we should be using these hashtags and the alt tag. And the reason why this is a good question is alt tags are the location for when people pin from our website to Pinterest that the Pinterest description populates. So if I had how to pin on Pinterest and then multiple hashtags, that pin description is going to show up in the pin when users pin from my website. We're just a little bit unsure on how having hashtags and an alt tag, which were designed for website accessibility, whether it will have any effect on search engine optimization. We're just really unsure, so I caution you to do it, but also to keep a close eye on your Google Analytics. So another important thing that they mentioned in this new article, which I'm going to link to below, is that the freshest pins are going to show up for the hashtag. So what I think that means is that when you use a hashtag, the most recent hashtag for, let's say, hashtag Pinterest for Business is going to show up at the top, not the most popular. Now, I think that's really important because there's a lot of older pins on Pinterest that usually rank at the top because they've been on there for a long time. And also, they've been pinned for a long time, so they might have higher pin counts. But what we think Pinterest is saying here is that the freshest pins are going to be the ones that show first. So I think that's really important for people who have pins but don't have a really large following on Pinterest. So what I think this means is that you're going to get the opportunity to be exposed at the top of the search results, and everybody wants that. So my recommendation is to make sure that you include those 4 to 5 concentrated hashtags in your pin description on your scheduler. I recommend using Tailwind. It's an easy way to set up a queue and so that your content is regularly going out. You could also consider using Board Booster, but the point is that your pins are freshly going out and freshly showing at the top of those hashtag feeds. Another thing that I think the hashtags are going to do is communicate more information or more metadata about your pin. So if all your pins are using a variation on, for example, mine, like Pinterest for Business or Tips for Pinterest, then you're going to be able to communicate more to the Pinterest search engine what your pins are about. And I think that's going to make the results more accurate. So my recommendation is to get started on this now. Not a lot of people know about the hashtags. It's kind of been buzz in the Pinterest marketing strategist world, but start implementing the hashtags now so that you can rank higher and get an advantage on getting traffic to your website. I have a free Pinterest startup guide that you can get by subscribing to my email. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page, and I'll be linking to other videos at the end of this one that will potentially help you get started with the Pinterest marketing strategy. Thanks so much for joining me today, and if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you below.